All right, so we're going to get started. Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Clark, and you're in the right place if you're in the 5 days to a 5K donor challenge. I'm going to share my screen, but I wanted to just full screen say hello to everyone, whether you're watching live or you're watching a recording. I just want to thank you so much for joining me in this journey to your 5K donor. I'm going to share my screen. Awesome. So this is 5 days to 5K donor challenge day one. Tonight's focus, in addition to meeting me, and I hope to get to meet you, is that we're going to talk about crafting your magnetic donor story. You want to be able to attract donors by sharing the heart of your mission. And I can't stress the importance of the your mission. If you're a nonprofit leader, you have a mission, a burden on your heart to serve or save a community by your work. And the reason that I put together this challenge is, and we'll talk about it shortly, but so often I meet nonprofit leaders that take their own money out of their own pocket and pour it into a nonprofit. And though I totally get it, I understand it, have done it with organizations that I've worked with, unfortunately, you limit your organization because now it's only limited by the amount of money you have. Now, if you're watching this and you are a multi-millionaire and money's no object in terms of pouring into your nonprofit, first, I want to definitely congratulate you. But second, most nonprofit leaders are dealing with or are pulling from their own reserves. Maybe they work or have businesses. And what a reason I formed this was that I want you to now embark on getting donors. We'll talk about the benefits of donors, the difference between donors and grants. But the real goal is that I want you to be able to really walk out your mission unrestricted, to have the funds that you need to be able to fund your staff, fund your programs, and really take your organization to the next level. So as you watch this, you may be in one of two buckets. Maybe you've never had a donor and you've never had a conversation before, you're in the right place. Or maybe if you received, had donors and met with them and had some success, but you want to take that donor game to the next level, you're also in the right place. Like, why should I even listen to this guy? First, thank you for coming out. But a little bit about me, I'm a business and executive coach. So I work with both for-profits and nonprofits. That includes C-suite leaders, founders, executives, entrepreneurs, nonprofit leaders, executive directors on not just pitching and asking for money from donors, but I also coach on leadership, mindset, messaging, pitch, and confidence. Confidence more than anything else. I'm also a coach, speaker, and trainer. I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. My beautiful wife, three children, a Doberman, and a little feisty Frenchie. So that's a little bit about me. And I'll tell you, I got my start in fundraising in the film and television space, then brought that over into startups. I've worked with startups that have raised from 10,000 all the way up to $20 million. I've worked with nonprofits that have raised millions of dollars, all the way up to from their first $10 all the way up to millions of dollars. And it's I love what I do because often my work with a nonprofit allows them to increase programs, to increase their reach. And again, my big thing is really just pushing nonprofits to go for those donors, to ask for funding. And tonight, I'll use a couple of words synonymously. So you'll hear me say pitch, uh, giving story. I do look at it as somewhat the same, but do I want you to be salesy, pitchy, forceful? That's not what we're talking about here tonight. What we are talking about is building relationships with donors that are going to be long lasting, that you're going to be able to build relationships, get your programs funded, and I'll talk about the benefits of donors, but get your programs funded and again, take your nonprofit to the next level. Some of the companies that I've worked with, some of my current and past clients include Google, Home Depot Corporate, Thomson Reuters, Name.com, law firms of Morgan Lewis, Simpson Thacher, Wells Fargo, MSNBC, just to name a few. And if you hear some barking, I do have a dog in the next room that might want to bark a little bit, but it'll be totally fine. All right, so again, and the reason I show this, not to show off, but just to let you know that in this challenge, the perspectives that I'm bringing are using corporations, large organizations of various sizes, and this is really meant to position you to raise money and to do well. So to get the most out of today's session, I want you to close any other screens you have. Please take notes, ask questions, but the last two are most important. Please be open to new ideas. I'm going to say some things tonight that you may, or even over the next 5 days, and you may say, wow, I've never heard it put that way, or I don't know if I agree with that. Please be open to new ideas. What I'm showing you tonight is not something I'm testing, but it's something that I actively use with nonprofit clients that have multi-million-dollar budgets. And second, well, next to last is remember that it's not about you. One of the biggest concerns that I hear from nonprofit founders, they say, well, I'm shy. I don't have contacts. I. Well, I want to let you know and let you off the hook. It's not about you. We have these conversations with donors so we can serve the community. So we can serve a community. And there's a community, again, as I mentioned, you're called to serve or save. And that's why we have these donor conversations. And that's all it is. It's a conversation, letting them know who you are, what you do, who you serve. And by the time you get to the quote unquote end of that conversation, they should be leaping in the heart to want to give to you. So that's what will be our focus. So again, remember, it's not about you. I don't want you worrying about, oh, I don't have sales experience. I don't feel comfortable. We're going to work past that in the next 5 days. So here are some of our goals. One, we're going to be talking about a compelling donor story. So you got to understand the components of a compelling donor story. You might be saying, Mike, I already know how to talk about my nonprofit. More often than not, you're talking about it from an insider's perspective because you're just so close to it. I'll ask a nonprofit leader, hey, tell me about your organization. And they'll say, well, what we do is we serve this community and we serve them with PDXJ. We file this form for them.